through, or not coming through, as the first ban will be Fiora coming out from Giants, followed by Kalista aimed at Adryh as the second ban of the Champion Select.
So yesterday we even saw the Rumble being banned away from Giants. You have to feel like BetongJocke would have been playing that, and some of the players on the Unicorns were like, we don't want you to have that, as Rumble Jungle has started to become apparent. Not banned out yet. Maybe we'll see if it's available. Didn't see it really in any games yesterday. Alistar being banned away. Now that Kalista's off the table as well, but we know Sprattel's had these good Alistar games. His stat lines have been typically right up there. He even nearly got MVP, I believe it was. He was on the OP5 in week 2 for his Alistar.
Yeah, in fact, Alistar was the most banned champion against Elements, so it makes sense. The last ban will be Morgana again. Aimed at Eika this time, can also be as a flex, but Eika has been playing a lot of Morgana recently.
I'm interested now because typically you'd stick a Morgana available now if you were looking to build a Kog'Maw composition. We didn't see too many yesterday with the Morgana, but we did see Morgana banned on red side so that it wasn't able to be paired with the Kog'Maw. Now, we know Giants played Kog yesterday. Is it first pickable for them? Do they want to go all in on that pick? There's not a whole lot of protection around for it right now.
We've seen good answers to it, but we were having this conversation about how it's great at being plugged and played into compositions, but the first pick will remain the Lucian, so he seems to still be ahead in terms of priority when it comes to AD carry picks.
Definitely seems that way, especially in this game, and I think this is Giants saying we put too many eggs in one basket yesterday and the basket broke.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the Kog'Maw didn't work for them. They were one of 2 teams that didn't have a good day with it yesterday. And talking about that plug and play aspect, coming into this week, we were thinking, you know, Kog has to have a composition built around him. Still, that is the case. It performs best with that support composition, but we were incredibly surprised to see how clean a team has to play to shut down a Kog'Maw in the early game. One mistake, just like in the Fnatic G2 game, completely undid it and let Reckless on that Kog'Maw back in. So now Elements have the option to pick it up later in this draft.
And the first 2 pickups from Elements will be Braum and Nidalee instead. So Nidalee, as we were talking about on the analyst desk, has risen in popularity massively over the last couple of weeks, and Braum as well going on to Sprattel, so securing that early support.
I like this pick as well. If you're looking for the Kog'Maw, Braum provides a fair amount of support, Nidalee provides a heal. Also, one thing that Braum will do here, if BetongJocke is looking for the Gragas out of the jungle, it does prevent a lot of the engage that Gragas has, or the disengage from the ultimate. So I'm interested now to see whether Elements are building towards that, or whether they're going to pivot and go for a completely different direction in their bottom lane.
Yeah, to touch on that interaction very briefly, basically when he brings up the Unbreakable, you cannot barrel through it, so you will knock people away. We actually saw that interaction in Challenger the other day, and it was really frustrating to play against. So an early pickup Braum is super cool to see. Only a couple seconds left on Giants' next rotation, but it looks like they have locked in the Gangplank and looking towards the Elise as well, going on to BetongJocke. Will be pivoted to Elise. Just calling me.
Hold that thought a little. It's okay. Betting changes to Elise right at the last minute. That Gangplank. Now, is that going to be top lane for Atom, or do we think that's going to be mid lane? Atom is yet to play it. In fact, neither of the solo laners have played Gangplank yet for Giants. For Pepinero, or xPePii as he's now known, it's going to be a later game scaler. Yes, it does provide a good amount of wave clear, good amount of control over side lanes with the ultimate, but this is Giants picking their AD carry for the early game and now one of their solo laners to scale up. I'm going to have to see how this works, but this draft is way different to yesterday's. Yesterday we had so much priority on Gragas and Kog'Maw in the first rotation, and it's not appeared today.
Neither of them at all, but honestly, Gangplank does not strike me as an Atom champion, whereas Peppy feels like the playmaker on the team, so could utilize that champion. Looking towards the next 2 pickups from Elements, looking like it may be an AD carry here, or maybe just 2. So just a couple of seconds left. I'm going to wait it out, but it looks like it will be the Graves that has been locked in, and so is the Corki.
Okay, right now we're playing 6.2 meta in this game already, the way we've gone down the list. And Corki really is the only champion that got any kind of change. He got that damage reduction, didn't really hit him too much. So now we could still be looking at an AD carry for a third AD carry from Elements. If they wanted to run the Graves in the top lane, Corki in the mid lane, and then something else as AD carry. I do think that they'll probably just take the Corki into Lucian matchup, though.
The funny thing is, Graves took a huge hit on 6-3, and then Kappa played him in the top lane, was just like, better nerf him harder next time, Kappa, and he just had an amazing game. So even the fact that he's still a priority pick is really cool to see, but it will probably be the top lane is what I'm expecting here, especially with Nidalee being locked in.
Yeah, you are absolutely right. The Graves got hit way harder than Corki. The additional animation on his Q was quite frustrating, actually, and the damage, yeah. Speaking of dynamic Q partner in crime, Pulse, there was a game where you didn't realize, oh, are we going to see it? Are we going to see it? We are!
Yes!
Okay, so
the dream
has been played in the LCK, in the top lane, into multiple AD carry compositions. Obviously, it's incredibly tanky and also returns a lot of damage. The problem is, he now has to try and utilize that. The weird gank paths, the timings where you can use Powerball to roll into a lane and catch people unawares. We're going to have to see how Atom can cope with that.
Oh, I am so excited about this pick, Stress. You may have to hold me back during the game from just talking about him all day. But Barla's also picked up. I spoke to Kasing yesterday, and there's a lot of interesting interactions on that champion, specifically the one we saw with Thresh. But definitely, I love watching Bard play in this one. We saw it with the Zillion combination, but this time we have Gangplank in the mid lane, most likely, since we have the Rammus locked in. Don't expect to see AP Rammus mid lane nowadays. But yeah, waiting on that very last pickup from Elements here. I'm just going to wait for this one to tick down. This has been definitely a long champion select from
Whoa! That is,
hang on. The Emperor of Shurima has arrived, ladies and gentlemen.
Is that our first Azir of the split? I've been waiting for somebody to pick up Azir. It may be the second.
xPePii has played it once before.
Oh, okay, yes, you are right. Yes, he has played it. But Azir is a champion that has gone so far down the list of priority mid laners. Again, it does provide a scaling component. Obviously, an engage/disengage setup. They're running poke from the Nidalee, from the Corki. They've got protection from the Braum as well. So Elements, I feel like they have this weird kind of composition where with a Corki grouping with the Nidalee, they should be okay. But if they play around the Rammus, that's going to be the key thing for them this game, in my opinion.
Yeah, what an answer to Rammus, by the way, because he completely counters out heavy AD compositions. Yes. You pick a big AP mid laner in the mid lane with Azir, and you can push him back when he power balls into you. It's just like, I love the pick.
And it's a scaling mid laner as well. It's not like a LeBlanc or something that will have presence in the early game, in the early mid game, and then if you don't start really killing the tanks, that it just falls off. So I like that pick. I actually was thinking what is available in the mid lane. Did not put my mind to Azir, but there we go. The Emperor of Shurima.
Oh, Eika. Okay, you can see the full compositions and the players utilizing the champions on the Rift. So join us in the discussion on Twitter. Tweet at LOL eSports with hashtag GIA win and hashtag EL win. And we'll be getting into this game very shortly. There is so much on the line for both these teams, and they are pulling out all of the stops with all of these picks coming out here. And the crowd is definitely behind at least one of the players in this game, Stress. Steve has the crowd chants behind him as we get into game. Giants up against Elements.
Well, Steve's got his work cut out for him in a Graves versus Rammus matchup. I don't know whether that's a matchup I'd really want to play.
I would like to play if I was Rammus.
I can't auto you, and I can't auto minions behind the minions that are in front of me. So there's not a whole lot of options here. Then get taunted, and no more farming for any of you. But anyway, we'll see how Steve can utilize the end of the line and the rest of his kit. But you have to feel like it could be a tough one. Betting, okay.
Maybe
hit by the Winter's Bite.
They're going to follow up. There's a spear. xPePii is there to help out his ally just a little, but Elements will still get the invade opportunity. Place down some of these deep wards that Deficia was talking about a little earlier, specifically the ones that will maybe see out a lane swap up. So there you see 2 wards coming out, so that will spot both the base gate and also the lane. So there is no way for someone to pass through there and get to lane.
Another one that I like is they actually warded mid lane at the very same time in the lane as well. What that was doing was just tracking where the rest of Giants were kind of fleeing from their side of the map, just to read in case you get the information of where the duo lane crosses through, anything like that. So it's just an interesting ward that we don't always see, but that is Fervor of Battle Azir.
Fervor of Battle Azir, also Fervor of Battle Graves, Bond of Stone Rammus, so there's a lot to talk about here. But yeah, Azir basically, because he auto-attacks a lot, he'll be stacking that one up in the mid lane. Top lane, a lot of top lane Graves have been going for Thunderlords recently, but moving to Fervor, because your skills, when they hit multiple targets, you stack it up incredibly quickly. And when you hit multiple targets, it hits on every single one that you hit. So it's a different playstyle, it's just a different way of playing the champion, but it deals just as much as damage of Thunderlord.
They also deal Fervor of Battle bonus damage on the soldiers as well. It's one of the exceptions here. So as Eika gets that Fervor stacked up, the later the game goes, it's just going to chunk through. But it is Scaler versus Scaler in the early game here for xPePii and Eika. So as much as Eika is taking damage right now, he's probably just going to heal that up. I don't expect either of them to go overly aggressive, both running teleport as well, so nothing like ignite kill pressure either.
I feel like this is one of the more mechanically intense champions we've seen Eika run, because when we used to see Azir a lot, he's a difficult champion to play. You can't just pick up Azir and play him well.
GODFRED's looking for odd timing.
Yeah, he's looking for this guy to happen, going through the minion wave, looking for a place to stun him against the wall, does not connect the Cosmic Binding, and Eika comes in with a punish onto xPePii. Both of them took a little bit of punishment there, but Eika is low on the mana reserves.
Yeah, actually a bit of a backfire there from GODFRED. Didn't quite read the timing of the minion wave, was maybe looking to use the Cosmic Binding off the front minion and get that lockdown, but just read it. The second one comes in and it blocks any chance of a Q, so no real ability to get that mid lane kill. Now they've grouped on the bottom. It's 4 from Elements here. 3 from GODFRED. Oh, the minions are doing so much work right now, though. Blocks the spear out from Gilius as well.
So Atom's going to be down here. This will mitigate, just the fact we've seen some lane swap-ups will mitigate the kind of matchups we were going to see with Rammus, etc. But it will get him later into the game without feeling maybe as much punishment from Graves, who will just auto-push him in. And now he has the support from GODFRED and BetongJocke.
At this point in the game, though, you see Adryh at the top side of the map is being given the solo lane experience, being given the solo... Well, the gold up there as well off the farm. Sorry, GODFRED hit the first part of the binding, but it didn't line up with the wall there. I was wondering whether he was actually looking for the stun. I would imagine so in that situation. But Adryh is shoved up. Now he's got to read whether Gilius is up there. Gilius is looking to head into the top lane. There is no ward there, but the fact that the lane was pushed so far up, I think Adryh just kind of knew that that opportunity was there for Gilius, so he falls back, and it makes Gilius think it's warded, so that he doesn't actually go in for the gank. Sometimes
you don't need wars to know that there's someone to gank you, and specifically in that situation in solo queue, you might just carry on pushing, but when you don't see the jungler on the map and you're pushed up, you're probably going to get ganked.
Well, that's the absence of vision and how you can use it into your favor. Is like if you don't see the number on the map where it's like, oh, there's 4 on the map and a jungler somewhere, and I know that he was bottom lane recently, he's coming towards his top side jungle. That means he's going to be likely in the top area, so he can come top to gank me. I better back away.
Yeah, that is a true statement. Mid lane, though, take a look at the call being picked up by xPePii on top of the corrupting potion. So he is just looking for farm central until he gets to his 2-item power spike.
And this is a call that I don't really mind. I actually think this isn't too bad, especially when you're in a Gangplank Azir matchup right now, is you're just farming against each other. You're really not going to get pushed out. Your Gangplank, you have your ult, you have barrels. You can get it. I mean, unlike yesterday's cull, which was the starting item on an AD carry, which I'm not so keen on. This is something we've started to see on AD carries more, is this second item off the first back, just picking up the cull.
Yeah, we see the return of Gangplank.
Ah yes, Gangplank in action.
Yeah, but we do see Rammus going back to base. See what he's going to be picking up. He went for the Durant Shield first, actually. GODFRED is now unfortunately left in this 1v2, and Bard not necessarily known for his 1v2ing prowess, but he's going to be there regardless. He has BetongJocke in the wings, so just in case he gets dived, he's got that safety net. And Adryh will be going back into the bottom lane. So Atom is now going to the top lane, Steve is now recalling, and so is the bottom lane from Elements. They may just do the old switcheroo.
Unfortunately, though, for Atom, Steve pushed it all the way into the tower, just in time for it to now push back away from the Giants. The first minion aggroed all of the front melee minions from Giants' side, so it means Elements will have that wave received to them fairly shortly, probably on the next wave, and that's what Steve's running up there now, because it's going to draw Atom further up the lane. Rammus is a champion that has very low escape unless you let him run away with Powerball. Like, he has flash and that's it. If he starts charging the Powerball, you just stand on top of him. In a 2 versus 1, you interrupt the Powerball, he's forced to knock back because the animation is locked.
Yep.
And from there, he cannot get away.
Oh, the plays coming in from Eika, the moves, and he's going to return the damage onto xPePii. He walks away from the tower, and Gilius is there to pick up the kill. Ultimately, that was a 1-for-1 as both junglers chime in.
Well, we said the mid laners weren't going to kill each other, but the junglers come in and kill each of the other team's mid laner right now. So there was action from the jungle, but that was a decent... I kind of want to watch that again because it looked like Eika was trying to disengage with his ultimate, but I couldn't quite get it.
Got it. Good job, Atom. He's going to be walking back to the top lane. You're going to get your wish.
We are going to get it again. So, Gilius, he was knocking him into Gilius. I didn't see where Gilius was on the bottom side of the screen, but ulting him that far back meant that he had to cross into tower range, took tower shots, and that was it. It was pretty straightforward in the end of it. Just sometimes when you don't see a jungler sneak up through the bottom, that's where it's a problem.
Yeah, Vision is actually playing a major part in this game, even in the early game right here. Gilius just on to his red buff. I was talking to Gilius the other week. He was talking about starting Q versus Trap, which is actually what a lot of Korean junglers do. And in fact, a lot of Nidalee players, they go for Trap first, so you can set up before your first clear. Gilius likes the Q. Eika just dodging around those barrels in the mid lane, generally just farming it on up. BetongJocke looking for this guy to come up. Will be swapping the human form and lands the cocoon as well. Look at the follow-up damage from the neurotoxin. Gets the venomous bite. Peppy trying to get in range for the auto attack. There's the ultimate. Eika, he doesn't have flash. The cannon barrage comes in for the kill.
So, what Eika did there was a touch greedy. He was trying to draw them far enough down the river so that when he soldier Q'd, the changes to Azir a few patches ago will take you to the end of the Q animation no matter when you reach the soldier. It used to be that you'd stop early. So Eika was trying to buy himself extra room, but because of that, he took extra damage, ends up standing in the ultimate. It's enough to take him down. A little bit unfortunate for Eika, but he should have soldiered earlier.
Yeah.
Should have soldiered earlier.
Wise words, Strash.
Stretch. All right.
Should have soldiered earlier. But yeah, we actually haven't seen Azir since all those changes came through, because there were a lot of cool interactions you can do, like dance back and forth with the soldiers now. There's a lot of different walls you can get over that you couldn't before. That was also at the time where Azir died out in competitive, so we never really saw those cool things. So maybe Eika can bring it to the table now.
I want to see if Eika has the one where you ult in the middle of your shift and then return to where you came from before. But top lane, Steve gets flash taunted.
The taunt, and he's forced to walk towards the tower. BetongJocke is there, but Eika may be able to pick up the kill. Collateral damage, and the Azir comes in for that one. BetongJocke will come down, jump over the wall to the minion, and he's alive and safe, but Atom went down.
Atom went down. Peppy didn't use his teleport in response to Eika's, so they had the even numbers there for elements, despite the fact that BetongJocke was the one trying to go aggressive in that top lane. Bottom lane though, GODFRED.
Gilius is here, flashes the spear, but there's the glacial fissure knocking him up. Gilius is dropping low, the ignite comes out. Adryh looking to return the damage, but ultimately GODFRED goes down 1-0.
Oh, I thought GODFRED flashed into that spear then. That would have been some beautiful timing out by Gilius, but they got the kill nonetheless. GODFRED had to use his ult and both summoners in that bottom lane, and now Adryh is there on his own against Sprattel and MrRallez, who, while the farm is even between these two, MrRallez and Sprattel will be happy that they're getting these kind of picks, because all they need is to get Corki to the point you can group with the Nidalee, and as long as the Azir is doing okay, you know he's there for the later game. Problem is, Eika has died twice so far this game.
He has, but he will continue to scale, and that's kind of something they didn't have versus Origin yesterday, where they played the early game so exceptionally well, and then just didn't really have the game plan past like mid-game and late game to respond to Origin, who took that great team fight. This time with Azir, they have all the tools to go for a good team fight, as well as the poke on top of that with Nidalee Corki.
And the ward you just saw Steve place is the ward that when you're expecting a gank but don't want to go to the tri-bush because it's not safe, that's the one you place. Because it's just enough time that if your flash is available, you should be able to survive. But it's safe enough that you don't have to face check anybody, because otherwise BetongJocke would have just gone aggressive there.
Indeed, and Peppy is currently 45 stacks remaining on his core, so he's going to be cashing that one in fairly soon. Over half the way there. That's Blue Wolf going over to him as well to keep that farm income going in the mid lane. Even went for the Sheen first, because first item will be Triforce, but sometimes you see them go for the phase, so you get the extra movement speed when you kill minions, and you can just kind of back away and carry on farming. But a little bit extra damage there when he decides to harass. And Gilius coming in for the counter jungle as well. GODFRED was coming up, so I think he got vision of them, just tagged them on the way down. So they know exactly where elements are, but they are securing a lot of vision in the bottom side.
Oh yes, they have a lot of wards down there. Not only wards, the other side of it is that Gilius has been doing fairly consistently this game, is placing traps in the common ward spots that you saw Deficio talking about a few minutes ago. He's actually been placing them on, you can see one right behind that red buff on bottom side. just so that if anybody was going in there to check a ward, they proc the trap and you get the vision of them. So it's punishing people checking the ward spots that aren't normally cleared out very easily. It's the next level Pulse, the next level mind game.
This might be a next level gank in the bot lane. There's the ultimate from GODFRED, pins down Sprattel, BetongJocke. Oh, the flash out of the way, and the response from the ultimate, Adryh coming in with the autos, and that was a TP cancelled. This is a 3 versus 2 still. MrRallez and Sprattel will be able to get away and even turn around to close in the noose as Gilius comes in from behind, picks up the kill, the takedown, and now BetongJocke will be backing off to the tower. Frostbomb does not connect, but the culling does. Sprattel is going to be standing in front of Gilius to keep him alive.
Oh, but he is on a ward here. If somehow that they can get someone around. No, okay. BetongJocke is too low. I was looking for the Gangplank ult, realized it had already been used at that point. So a little bit of fortunate circumstance for Gilius not to have that ultimate available from xPePii. But that means Elements will take this tower. It looked to be a bit rough when Steve cancelled his teleport because Sprattel and MrRallez were still going forward. They were still looking for that engagement, all because Gilius was coming from the backside of the lane through that bottom side jungle, because that's what the vision control that they established.
It's two things from Elements. One, the vision control, and two, how well Gilius has been playing this game.
Yes.
How many counter ganks have we seen so far?
We have seen a lot of counter ganks. This is another example of where Gilius, so for the beginning of this, he's actually in mid lane. Look at how long this fight takes. So the teleport comes in, forces the Giants to back away, and they get baited by the teleport getting stopped because they don't have vision of Gilius until now. He then crossed the pink ward, and it was too late to back away.
Steve in the top lane, almost under attack, and what's that? We have Gilius here for the counter gank. Mid lane, though. Looks like we're going to have Eika looking for another play. The flash, the ult, and xPePii will just flash the whole combo. That was a flash for flash, but the ultimate used from Eika there. Gilius maybe a little over-aggressive now. Will have to flash defensively back to his side of the map. And then doesn't have that one for the next 5 minutes. Now Giants will go back into the jungle and carry on farming. GODFRED's actually going to help out with this one as his bottom tower is dead.
xPePii going to get back to mid lane. His cull is not quite completed on the charge. Eika, whoa, that damage.
Whew. And the cosmic banning just to rub salt in the wound. That was a lot of damage coming in from xPePii.
Yeah, well, xPePii did just get his Triforce, so it means that that first parlay in lane, that's like, oh, okay, you've got a surprising amount of damage. I didn't realize that. It's like only the most common Gangplank power spike. It's like the one that everybody talks about.
I think it is the power spike, right, of like all champions.
If
like,
ever there was a buzzword to be used, it was that one. It's that situation. But there you see it in action anyway. But Eika, he's not having a great time in this game. Let's be real. He's had a decent engage, but then got killed by the jungler just coming in, and then jungler's walked away. Yeah. And then he's just taking so much damage and hasn't really been able to deal too much of it. He had the teleport to top lane, which worked out fairly well for Elements, but in this isolated 1v1 scenario, it has not been going too well for him, as xPePii is in a good spot for the second game running. But that didn't last for the Giants yesterday. Can the Giants kind of close this gold gap with this scaler from the middle lane with xPePii? That's what we have to look at.
Well, xPePii is still 100% kill participation, so from the last game, it's still going. Atom looking for the bottom lane. There's the taunt to Rallez, and the Death's Daughter. It's raining down on top of Rallez. Atom will flash after, and Tremors will finish him off. Look at the Rammus. Look how glorious it is.
Look at him go. Gotta go fast down in that bottom lane, but there wasn't anything too fast about that. Good taunt. Coordination there, just xPePii, use your ult with the Death's Daughter. Landed in the middle, got him.
Oh, yeah, got him. And Sprattel heading into the top lane. Maybe looking to gank Adryh here. BetongJocke, I believe, already knows that is the case. But Rammus has actually been leveling W and E equally. When we saw an LCK, the Rammus went for E max first into W, and then Powerball was the very last one. You don't want the damage, really. Everything else you get from ranking up Powerball is not really that efficient versus having the extra armor, etc. And even having early points in W is great because it converts with your passive into extra AD. So it makes last hitting easier, you deal more damage, then you have Tremors, and then you just kind of headbutt people to death with your horn.
Yes, you do. That is pretty much how it works. He has wings. I've never seen that skin before. Wow, that's pretty cool. Also, we may see it this game. I kind of hope we see it in this game, just because if you ever seen a... that skin's amazing. Yep. If you ever see a Rammus building Iceborne Gauntlet, it looks like he has neon lights. Yes, you know, like on a street racer, looks pretty cool. Looks pretty funny.
And he gets it every time.
Oh, xPePii backed away from that middle lane, didn't have his teleport available. That means that tower goes down in favor of Elements. Now they put down the tower from Azir as well, so will give the rest of Elements the ability to move into the enemy jungle and get even more vision than we've seen from them in the last couple of minutes. Turret has gone down. It is not the longest structure to stand this early on in the game, but still was enough to allow them to get into this top side.
Yeah, gave them a bit of pressure up there. The ward came over the wall, but BetongJocke dragged the blue into the bush to cut the vision, so they couldn't smite steal it, they couldn't know what health it was on. Top lane now is under attack from Elements, and Atom is still there though. He's getting progressively more tanky, already sat on his Sunfire cape, and has now gone into those boosts of swiftness, both of which just benefit Rammus massively. Something people forget, well, I'm gonna hold that thought as Eika has found xPePii, pops the ultimate, and spear lands from nowhere. Dev's daughter with the ultimate coming in from the cannon barrage was a little preemptive, it was a panicle.
It was just to deny them chasing, it was denying the further chase because, oh, hang on, Giants want to chase in the middle lane, they don't have Gangplank ult. This would be the time to use it if you wanted to slow them down. Problem is, Elements are fairly mobile. Gilius jumps forward, Braum jumps to him, Azir uses the Sand Soldiers to get further back in the lane as well. Heavy just had to respect the damage that was coming from Eika. Eika does have the Nash's Tooth finished, has had it for quite a while.
I'd have to watch it again, but I feel like it wasn't necessary. At the very least, he popped his ultimate and didn't have to use his flash, which is the main thing. It's a shorter cooldown, but I think it was okay. I think he just got spooked by the fact he got hit by a spear from nowhere, and he was like, I don't know where it came from. Pop ultimate.
Well, yeah, it's the kind of thing that you just put it down, and if they come towards you, you try and even up the trade somewhat. So it's not the longest of cooldowns for xPePii, but he does have teleport available, as does Atom, so they can control the sideways without that ultimate right now. Problem is, Elements are focused pretty heavily on this top side. They have got Eika down in the bottom lane as well now. Sorry, Eika in the mid lane, Steve in the bottom lane. So Elements are looking to play off 3 lanes, but nobody is there to stop Steve yet.
Not just yet. Gilius is back.
From xPePii will be up in about 20 seconds.
Yeah, a quarter cooldown remaining. Back into the top lane now, though. Atom is back up there, but Sprattel and Gilius are sitting off to the side, looking for this gag to happen. Pops the W. The defensive ball curl will give him a lot of stats, and he even sidesteps a lot of those skill shots coming in. That tower's dying very quickly from MrRallez. There's the taunt coming in. He auto-attacks, so he'll take the tower aggro, but doesn't really matter on this tier 1 at 19 minutes. Doesn't do all that much damage. And Atom is almost at max rank on E, I believe, so if not already. Level 4?
Yeah, still rank 4. The obviously level 11 point went into Tremors. So at this point, one more level and he'll get it. He's third of the level there. So Elements are giving a lot of freedom though. That's the key thing of the last few minutes. Is Elements have been able to go mid, get the mid tower, go top, get the top tower, get the vision in the jungle. Steve pushes out, isn't punished. Giants aren't actively looking to punish Elements for anything yet.
GODFRED back in the bottom lane. I do want to touch on the Rammus again. I may not get the chance as the package has been picked up and Corki is speeding towards the bottom lane. And Adryh is aggressing on Steve. The tower is still remaining, but it's down at 25% HP as the siege comes in from that 2-man stack. Make that 4 as xPePii is now coming in with GODFRED. Now that Steve is going back to base, Gilius will be there to fill in the blanks. There's just kind of a whole lot of posturing right now, so I think I get to talk about Rammus. Okay, so Tremors actually has a much shorter cooldown than people actually think. It's people are like, oh, it's like a 2-minute cooldown. MrRallez coming in with the package. Well, actually immediately Valkyrie away.
Okay, shorter cooldown.
Yeah, shorter cooldown. It's just something to keep track of because he almost has it for every single trade he wants to go for.
Okay.
And also, in terms of itemization, we're going to see him go for some magic resist this game versus what we saw in the LCK, which was just pure armor because it was picked very late into the draft against triple AD carry versus this one where you have a whole lot of AP he has to itemize towards.
Yeah, well, he has to respect, if nothing else, the Azir, as this goes later. The Nidalee will have damage, but it's the Azir that will chunk through the later this game goes, and you can see he's already had to build the Spectre's Cowl for the magic resist, so not overly surprising. At this point, Steve has opted towards some magic resist himself, despite being up against, you know, the likes of a Gangplank and a Lucian. He wants that more of Marmortius, keep himself alive while he's attacking Atom himself to death.
Yep, which is
dealing the damage back to himself, so kind of tough.
Atom Just still in the top lane. Looks like Herald will be going over to Elements. This is going to clear out some vision around this area. Definitely feel like Elements have been way more proactive when it's come to the vision game this match at least. So 2 wards go down there. Pretty much all of the wards are gone from Giants. There's like 1 deep ward. There's 1 pink ward in the bottom side.
Well, this is a problem for Elements right now. In fact, there's a problem for Giants more than anything at this point. And Giants, I believe, have to recall like almost right now if they want to fix this problem in the next couple of minutes, the Elements don't sneak Baron. And that is, Giants only have 1 blue trinket on Adryh on the bottom side of the map. And we're at a point where the likes of an Azir, of a Corki with Graves and Nidalee, if you get the time around Baron, will go down fairly quickly. And with only 1 blue trinket on Giants, it's very easy to bait that out and reset, so you either bait them down the entrances from the jungle, or you start the Baron yourself and take it. You need at least 2 blue trinkets. That's exactly what Elements have got. Even while playing from ahead, it's kind of weird that they wouldn't stick on some yellows, because normally you just deep ward and see them coming. But still, Giants are behind the curve on their trinket play.
But if Giants do have that vision, they have fantastic answers to a surprise Baron.
Yes,
like
the
Bard ultimate, an ultimate from xPePii. Atom rolling in, it's now past 20 minutes, so he has the home guard now, so home guard TP is a thing. So they have the answers, they just need the vision to be able to answer them.
Yeah, we're going to hear a lot about vision, I think, just in general. We've...
enlightened by the
Yeah, we've been enlightened by the Fissure, but at the same time, it is one of the most critical points right now, because Baron, theoretically, should be almost impossible to take when there are 5 members of the opposite team alive. You should always be able to put a blue trinket on it, or at least have some sense of control over the area, so they can't start it without forcing a fight.
I mean, this game is definitely revolving around vision. I mean, a lot of the plays that Elements have made so far have been based on that as a catalyst for those plays, even like the counter ganks from Gilius, for example.
Giants have, however, set up 3 wards around the Baron now, so they're utilizing the Tracker's Knife. They got the Sight Stone as static vision, rather than using blue trinkets as well on top of it, which isn't a problem. But obviously having that blue trinket to just reveal an area is a lot better just on the fly for when somebody is taking the Baron. Once these wards die and once the Rift Scuttle runs out, that vision is gone from Giants and it's hard to re-establish.
They're going to try and contest this vision. Eika has found BetongJocke, gets a couple swings off with the Sand Soldier before BetongJocke backs off here real quick. xPePii back in this middle lane. Already has 1 point in the ultimate in terms of Silver Serpents he's destined to upgrade it. Trying to get these barrel mechanics off. I believe he has 1 so far.
He actually has 2. He's got Fire at Will as well.
Oh wow, and he's on 360 more Silver Serpents, so he's almost fully upgraded it.
Yeah, we are reaching that kind of time where obviously you actually collect Silver Serpents faster the longer the game goes, because you can just double barrel a wave, double hit it, and it clears the entire wave. So like that, xPePii just got so many Silver Serpents. I don't know how many, but he got a lot of them. He's now at 410 at least.
Okay.
So it was like 50.
Yes.
Since we started talking about this.
I think we matched it.
Roughly. There we go.
But yes, there's kind of like this moment in the game where it's just like speeds up exponentially.
Yes.
When you get like 1-2 items and you can instantly clear that wave, as you already mentioned. Because early game you get a little bit less, it takes you longer to get your first upgrade.
So long.
Once you get your first one, it's like you have 3 in the next like 2 minutes.
Because you got to parlay individual minions, because your barrel actually isn't strong enough until you get 20 force to even clear the ranged ones.
You're like, oh, I got to harass them with my Grasp of the Undying. And it's like, oh, but I just missed some gold there, so... yeah, a lot of hard decisions that Gangplank has to make in the early game. It's not really that hard. But he has his ultimate back available, sitting on the Hex Ring Canal. Adam is rolling into the bot lane. He's going to give Steve a bump, and he's going to taunt him. And Steve is not doing a lot of damage to Atom, who's popped the defensive ball curl, and is still chasing after him. There's the Tremors as well. You can run, you can hide, but you will get your Hex Rinker popped.
Yeah, he got his Maw popped at that point. So one thing that Steve is hoping the Maw does for him is, because the damage that is returned from both Thornmail and Rammus W counts as magic damage, he's like, well, I'm going to make my damage stronger, and then my resistance is stronger to make the damage that's returning from me weaker. This is how it's going to try and work. But we just saw it in action. Doesn't work too effectively, because Atom still can just run up to you, taunt you, and then use Tremors, and that's a lot of damage itself.
So a rookie mistake some Rammus players will do is they'll pop a W and keep hitting you, and then they'll pop like Powerball for the instant burst and the CC, but it actually drops down your ball curl. So you lose the auto attack damage you're getting, so you want to do it towards the end of the duration. Because if you pop W and then pop Q, you just lost an entire spell and all that auto attack damage. So if you're an aspiring Rammus player, don't do that.
If you are, which I'm sure some of you are now after seeing it, hasn't had the explosive effect, hasn't been going lane to lane, you know, with these the Powerball, which is so difficult to kind of account for the extra movement speed. So we haven't seen Atom have a massive effect on this game yet.
Not yet, but where are you going?
Well, there's nothing to jump to. Betong's just allowing it to de-aggro.
Yeah. But yeah, one of the main points of Rammus top lane is just he doesn't die. Like, you get into late game and you just don't do damage to Rammus anymore.
Well, we'll see what Eika says about that.
Yeah, that is true. He's on 288 farm right now, which is kind of a lot for 26 minutes into the game, just turning on 27. But on the other side, xPePii has even more, so the mid laners have been going to town on the minions.
Yeah.
The minion death counts have been significantly risen in this game alone.
It's a very tempered game. Between these two teams, Giants and Elements. You know what, I was thinking of using the word tempered, and then I was like, I hope he doesn't say use the bad joke. Here we go, replay of the last time. It's the same.
Get him, Adam. Unfortunately, Rammus waddles at a very slow speed, so you can't really chase people.
Didn't get the more part though. This time it works out, man. It's
he got the Ghostblade
for Steve. He got the ult, that short ult cooldown you were talking about.
There's always like 2/3 remaining already. Just used it. So good.
Elements looking to group once again in this top side, playing off mid lane with Eika and bottom lane from Steve. Eika's pushed up and nobody's really there to stop him. Adryh is umming and ahhing about whether he wants to go across to mid lane or back up to top. Decides on top lane, or decides on mid lane for now. But,
say that again. Yeah, so lots of poking, lots of tower objecting going on in this game.
Objecting? I object to this tower.
Objection!
Thanks,
that's what Element
Mr.
is doing right now. Yeah, I'm sure we can get that at some point. I always imagine Azir as like, you know, Phoenix Wright in some way. I don't know why. He seems like the type of character who would do that. Oh, Atom. He was trying to skirt around all the minions so he could give Steve a good old bump, but unfortunately minions are there, so it's not going to happen today.
Give Steve a good old bump in this bottom lane. That's what Atom was looking for. Let's gotta go fast in this game so far. Just a lot of, well, we'll just wait till you make a mistake.
Yeah, gotta go at the speed limit.
Yeah, there's definitely no real laws being broken there. So we don't really need Phoenix Wright in this game at all. But we've got Elements taking it back away. Giants still haven't addressed their blue trinket problem. Elements haven't pressed them on it, so they've kind of had the easy way out right now.
Yeah.
But normally, as we were talking, you'll only stick to yellow trinkets if you are ahead, because they're easier to protect when ahead, difficult to protect while behind.
I still want to see Eika do some funny mechanics with the soldiers and shifting sand.
We haven't seen it.
I know. We've just seen the standard mechanics with like this room of shuffle, and it's just like, oh, we know that already.
Show us something new.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I want to see the U-turn one. That's
There's something
good.
I've been referring to as the dash dance, which is a Smash term, but because you jump back and forth really quickly, and then you kind of fake out your opponents. I've seen that a little in you know, high solo queue and like Challenger, etc., but haven't seen it in competitive just yet. The mind games.
Mind games, yeah. I mean, it's a little less effective here because you have to use cooldowns and they go on reset. It's not quite like wave dancing. It's not quite the same, but can't do it as free-flowing. But again, Steve pushing bottom lane. Atom will go down there to try and take care of him. He's rolling his way down. Has a Banshees now as well. That's what that Spectre's Cowl went into, so looking at it, it's going to stop the spears, stop the potential Azir engage. They can pop it just with a MrRallez rocket. Also means Steve can't just queue out. Although, I guess it would pop it on the way out, and then he'd take the damage on the way back.
So one of the nice things about Rammus as a tank is he's one of the smallest tanks. So you're very good at dodging out skill shots, because if you're a Trogoth, you're going to get hit by everything. Like, you are not going to dodge a skill shot for your life. But with Rammus, you're tiny. Like, you can actually just walk side to side, waddle a little bit, and then you just, look at that, that skill shot didn't even land because of how small Rammus is. So actually that Banshee's Veil is a little easier to keep alive. It's a very tiny point, but it's cool to mention.
Double Banshee's Veil already, actually. BetongJocke's got one. Really trying to just stop anything coming from Gilius and the likes of the rest of Elements when it comes to any of their engage. Means BetongJocke can be a little bit more aggressive here. Ooh, didn't even get hit by the soldier, so didn't pop it there. Elements are on the back foot. Teleport's coming in. Home guard play And the bot ult hits 3 people.
They see me rolling, and here comes Atom to start killing people. There's the bump, the flash, and he gets the taunt onto Eika as well. He'll be going down, and now Steve is off to the backside, but he'll also be falling. Surely, there's the cocoon land from BetongJocke on the way out. He'll have to flash away, and Pepi wants blood, gives him the trial by fire. In for the double kill, and now they're pushing down the middle lane as well. Adryh should be able to get this one, but nice block by Sprattel, so that was a 2 for 0 as Giants get out alive.
Giants finally utilized the Bard to engage at this point. He had a Frost Queen's claim, can use that to slow the targets. Then they know they've got the time for Atom to speed up through the river and get the knockback and land the taunt. Even under the tower, Atom is tanky enough to just take that for a while and just say, okay, well, I'm just going to sit here and deal some damage with Tremors. The rest of my team's going to clean this up. So Giants finally making an active player on the map. It's not enough to get them right back even on this game, but you can see they're looking to now pink ward out the Baron, looking to assume control over the area. They've actually started it, teleporting in. There is a ward behind that they haven't cleared right now, and another ward has gone in from Sprattel. Gilius is on his way.
And MrRallez is there off to the side. Sprattel is trying to close
Gilius
in, but they're not even there in time. Elise will get it with the Venom's Bite. The smite came early, and now MrRallez will be closed in on the top side. He's away from his team. There's no one to protect him. What a call from Giants.
Giants with a big minute of play there, managing to get the Baron buff on themselves, managing to find the fight in mid lane from behind. That is enough to swing the game now in their favor, and it's all because Elements just got slowed down. Giants started clearing the waves. Atom was dealing with Steve very well. Here was the engage again, catching 3 incredibly, important members in this team fight. They couldn't get away. Then the GP ult on top of it, plus the Rammus running in, is enough to start this fight. Steve doesn't have enough damage to deal with everybody on the enemy team here on his own, and it means that Elements lose their tower, lose the fight, and lose the Baron.
And now they go into the mid lane. There's another Bard ultimate. Gilius gets hit by the Tempered Fate. The team is there to try and keep him alive as they back off to the tower. Should be taking this one down. Meanwhile, Steve is in the bottom lane, looking to get his push on as Giants go into the top side of the jungle, but they have very fast recalls. They will be rotating to the top lane and probably taking this tower before Steve gets his.
Man, this game feels so similar to yesterday's for Elements, where they start so well. They have these catches. They're able to maybe start taking the first few skirmishes, but just at one point in the game, Elements just lose what they're doing. They try and set up the vision, but don't really get it. Never really able to force an objective, and their enemy just comes straight back into the game. At this point, xPePii is so incredibly strong. The problem is, Steve's
Rammus. He gets the taunt onto Eika, and he goes down instantly. The top tower falls, and Giants' push continues. 3 versus 5, but Steve is getting work done in the bottom lane. I don't think he can push as fast as his 5-man stack now, and that tower is disintegrating. Now the inhibitor goes down, and Steve is going to carry on pushing. This could be a make or break move coming in here. He has to recall. Here is he coming onto the tower. There's only 2 of those remaining, out of 2 of course, and now Atom gets the taunt. He's under both of the towers. You're Rammus, but you still take damage from Nexus turrets, and now Giants will have to disengage.
So it's inhibitor for inhibitor traded right now. 53 seconds left on the Baron buff, but keep in mind there is the runic affinity on BetongJocke. That is the +27 that is in gold next to the countdown timer. That means after the Baron buff's regular time has expired, BetongJocke will keep the buff for an extra 27 seconds, meaning Giants can play on one more lane with one more wave with that Baron buff. So if they can utilize that, maybe to look to push Elements further back in their base, we have to see that. But nevertheless, Elements hold for now, but this has got a very tense game on the side of Giants.
So let's recap what happened over the last couple of minutes, because both the inhibitors went down, both of the towers fell, and both of the inhibitor towers plus the inner towers fell. And that came from Steve. So overall, Steve's play actually went even there. And I was about to praise Giants for a Lelouch level play there, where they went for the Baron, and then they were about to take everything. But just like in Code Geass, he ends up dying, and then they all have
Spoilers? Spoilers? Whoa! Whoa, Pulse.
What? Come on, it's an old anime.
Nevertheless, I'm cutting you off from spoiling more things at this point. Pepi's down in the bottom lane right now, pushing that through. Elements are looking to answer this with a mid push of their own. They know top is pushing in, so they have to kind of even up this aggression with something. They put down the Azir tower. Now they're looking for this mid inhibitor. I mean, I don't know whether they're going to be able to get this. The minion wave is so slow behind them. The Giants have managed to come back, teleport in from behind from Atom. He's looking for an engage here. Elements may have pushed their luck too far up.
BetongJocke maybe call out. Here comes Atom though. There's the ultimate and the tower is still standing. That will be dealing a lot of damage in this trade. Atom will have to back away as he gets pounded by that Sun Disc, and now he has to go back to base. GODFRED is also chunked out from that one, and Elements keep up the pressure, even after that Baron play.
Importantly, though, they only have pressure in mid lane right now. Top is pushing in towards them from the inhibitor being down, and xPePii clearing the wave all the way back to the inner tower of Elements means that bottom lane, regardless of the inhibitor being down, isn't doing enough work for them to continue this push in mid.
The Sun Disc is down, and now Elements have to get out of here. Sprattel does not have the ultimate for disengage, and Adryh is getting the poke out. They just need to stop the recalls because a tower will go down. The flash, Atom hits them with the power ball. That's another kill onto Eika. MrRallez is trying to kite away, but Atom is looking for another victim to taunt, and Sprattel will be going down here for the double kill coming in for xPePii, and the top tower has fallen. Elements are losing their base, and they are bleeding out.
They are. Elements seem to think that they were at least on even footing with the Giants after that Baron play, but it was enough for Giants to continue pushing.
Giants knew all along this was the right play. Here's the package. That is one kill for MrRallez, but I don't think he can go hard enough to save this game, and Giants are all in on this Nexus as they take down Steve. Giants come up with a win against Elements. The faces on Elements look absolutely crushed, but Giants with an incredible win. Lozog even coming in there and just looks so happy after that win. And I've got to say, like, Giants have been incredibly upbeat even before these games, despite their record, and now the wins are coming in. It's just great to see, but on the other side, that's a tough game to lose for Elements.
A very tough game. 2 games this week. Incredibly tough to lose in that manner. You get the lead in the early game. It looked like you're doing everything right, but then you slow down. You can't control the game with such a slow pace like that for the Elements. And I guess it's slightly unfortunate timing if you're on Elements. The fact that this was the weekend, this was a couple of days where xPePii showed up. xPePii in that game, 8-1-2 on Gangplank, didn't really get pushed away from farming, didn't have the most amount of damage in the game, but still, he did enough with the wave clearing, with the side wave control, with the ultimate, pushing back the inhibitor to the super minions in the bottom lane. It was enough for the Giants. They were able to then get the Baron, push off that lane, get the top inhib down, and they've got themselves their second win.
It was so interesting as a game as well, because even from Champions League, we had all these new picks coming out. We saw Azir coming back, Rammus coming in from the LCK, now into Europe in the top lane. And the Rammus actually paid off big time in that game. Like, getting the flash bumps and getting the taunts off was really good to see. They got him past the early game with the lane swap. And it was just really well executed, you know, coming into this game. And they had it as an answer with the build-up in Champion Selects coming in from Elements. And Elements thought they had their own answer, but you can't stop the Rammus.
No, you couldn't stop the Rammus. I don't think it was the winning factor for this game. I don't think Rammus did anything that was too much more than other champions could have done. Obviously, he had a favorable matchup against the Graves, so being able to deny Steve a couple of times in the bottom lane was actually quite a unique thing for Rammus. But still, I think it was a solid game when it comes to the end half of the game for Giants. I don't think it was too poor. There were mistakes from both teams that slipped into it, but I mean, Giants will be happy to get their second win now, because that's going to be the biggest sigh of relief. Now that they've started winning, showing better games, maybe they now do believe that they can get that 7th place, because that's what these two teams realistically need to have as their goal in mind. Get out of relegations, stay in the LCS.
I think for the first time for me as well, I actually saw growth from Giants. Like, we have not made them make strong, proactive calls that are well thought out. Like that Baron play, maybe a little risky, but they knew where the people were on the map. And even though we were kind of we're talking about their vision control through the game, they still had the clarity to go for that play and make it work, get a pick on MrRallez, and close out the game and make a big power play from it. So really impressive from the Giants, and we just need to see that keep up in the next couple of weeks as we send it to on stage.